Hi, my name's Bilal Mir. I'm 25 years old. I was a Swansea University student between 2011 and 2015. I studied philosophy, politics and economics, and I now work for Cohen Co, which is a US investment bank. Well, when I was 15, 16, figuring out what I wanted to do, how to tailor my A-levels and my university choices, it was during the time of the financial crisis, and some of you might remember at the time, it was front page news all over the press. Everything was about credit crunch, financial crisis, the world's going to end. And at the time, it was a very complex issue to me. I didn't understand any of the topics that were being discussed. But it was obviously very important and was having a big effect on the world. So I decided to try and understand what on earth was going on. And as I was researching this and understanding it, I became fascinated with the interconnectedness of global financial markets, how important they are to everyday life, and how they support economic growth and life for everyone around the world. So I then chose my A-levels around that. I studied economics and mathematics. At university, I decided not to go so heavily towards the economics route. I chose philosophy, politics and economics, which gave me a more holistic view of other social sciences, which did help my understanding of human nature, choice, risk, and of course economics, all of which are central to investment banking. Well, Cohen Company is a boutique investment bank. It doesn't have, offices all around the world. It doesn't have thousands of employees. It is of a small size, what is known as a boutique, compared to names such as HSBC, Barclays, which everyone knows about. It's quite off the radar. So, I made a decision that I was not going to focus so much on applying to big investment banks, because coming from, let's say, a non-target school, a non-red brick institution, it's more difficult. So I focused my attention on boutiques. I spoke with one of the employees there, a managing director, and I was a summer intern during my university course, during my second summer. I was working all throughout the summer, learning a great deal, working with managing directors, partners of the firm, really working on topics and themes that I had really no comprehension of, learning a great deal, and it just made me even more fascinated with investment banking and financial markets. I stayed in touch with my colleagues at the firm, and upon graduation they invited me to join as a full-time analyst, which I was happy to accept. So it has to be said, Swansea University is not known as a target hiring school for big investment banks, but also accounting firms, law firms. They have limited resources within their HR and hiring departments, and they tend to focus on target schools such as Oxford, Cambridge, LSE, UCL. And that is really not to say there aren't talented graduates from Swansea. I've worked with interns that have been Swansea graduates, and they've been very, very talented and among the best that we've had. So what my advice would be to a Swansea student, of course apply to the big brands and the companies that you really have dreamt and aspired to work for, but also broaden your search to some smaller firms, some niche firms that have a more open hiring policy, that where you can pick up the phone and speak to a partner or a managing director, which you cannot do at Barclays or HSBC, for example. And then introduce yourself, develop a relationship, and show them that there are very talented graduates from Swansea University, not just from the traditional schools and universities that they hire from. So the great thing about applying to a boutique firm or a small firm is that in many cases there is not a very rigorous hiring process. In my experience for the internship, there was not, a online testing program. There was not a quantitative written paper that you took. It was simply the case of speaking with one of the managing directors, developing a relationship with them, leaving a good impression, and showing them that you are really determined and really motivated to learn a great deal and that you could add value to the team. What I say now to students, graduates that I speak to in terms of hiring them as interns, we're not really looking for the finished article. We're just looking for someone, nor should we expect to receive the finished article. We're looking for someone with the right attitude, who's willing to learn, and we can see is really motivated to develop a career in that industry. So in terms of my advice, choose something that you're really passionate about and let that passion come out when you speak to someone at the firm you're targeting. My advice to students who are interested in a career in investment banking is to really stay up to speed with all the latest trends and news that are going on in the industry. By reading articles on, the Financial Times, Wall Street Journal, you're going to learn the vocabulary that's used. You're going to begin to understand the layout of global financial markets, what factors affect big macro indicators such as inflation and unemployment, and that will hopefully raise your enthusiasm and intrigue into financial markets. This is also very important when you speak to a hiring manager or a managing director or a partner at an investment firm, because they want to see someone who is able to hit the ground running and contribute from day one. They don't necessarily want to pick someone who is completely green, who doesn't have any clue about investment markets or investment banking. So it's really important to have some good grasp of investment theory. For students that maybe they don't have a clear idea about what they want to do, I would emphasize that there are so many options out there in terms of great industries to work in, not only in the financial services sector, where you have investment banking, accounting, insurance, and a very fast-growing sector, fintech at the moment. There are other sectors that one could become involved in, such as marketing and media. It doesn't matter what your choice is, there are great opportunities everywhere. You just need to focus on one and try and pick up as much understanding about your chosen industry as possible, so that it really comes out in your whatever interview you have, whether it's telephone or in person. Because remember, it's not just you and the interviewer, it's you, the interviewer, and maybe 10 or 100 other candidates who are going for that one internship spot or one graduate scheme spot. So you need to find a way to stand out. Unfortunately, these students are going to be coming from universities that carry higher weights in terms of some recruiters' eyes. So you need to really stand out in terms of your knowledge and your passion for your chosen industry.